think you guys are in the same boat as me, because I myself am embarrassed that I do not know that in the last month there have been at least 12 Islamophobia related incidents, waving scissors at young girls to setting a mosque on fire. Assalamu alaikum guys, and welcome to another episode of Smile to Jannah. Don't forget the Palestinian brothers and sisters in your du'as. I'm going to leave a link in the description in case you want to donate to a charity that has a 100% donation policy. Yes, this is happening in 21st century UK. So ladies and gentlemen, on the back of the biggest right-wing patriotic nationalist march that we've seen in the UK for quite some time, where patriots like Tommy Robinson claimed that there were 3 million in attendance, which I don't think any credible academic says, but no problem. If you believe that, then that's fine in your little Tommy world. However, in the other world that we're all living in, the highest estimate that I've seen is about 150,000. Nevertheless, I am not one to downplay that march, to condescend that march, because there were a lot of people that believed that they were marching for the greater good of this country. However, it has been definitely proved by many people, ranging from YouTubers to journalists to people just taking clips out of the sanctioned speakers of the event,
that Islam is our real enemy. We have to get rid of Islam.
That being said, I did say in my video, and alhamdulillah, a lot of you guys came and said that that video was very beneficial and it put things in light for you. And one of the things that I said was that these individuals are working class. They're not sitting in their ivory towers. These are working class individuals that will be taking to the streets, working alongside you. And having and hearing that sort of rhetoric will have a knock-on effect, and it is very important for us to be more responsible, understand our religion and implement it. Not so long after the march, there was an attack on the synagogue. There was a guy that they have conveniently named, and apparently some people are saying even before the incident happened, BBC had posted it. Now, I don't know how that works. I haven't looked into it. But at the very least, one can say, as soon as it happened, suddenly we knew everything to know about the perpetrator. We had all the facts. It was a guy called Jihad. And some people are asking, was his brother called Knife and his uncle called Sharia? However, it doesn't take away from the fact, convenient or not, that somebody was killed. The other individual that was killed was by the police. But one killing of a person in a place of worship, an innocent person, is unacceptable. And we know, because there was a Gallup poll that was done, and the religious group with the highest amount that said killing innocent people is not allowed in any circumstance were Muslims. Yes, in a Gallup poll, the Muslims were the highest. All the other faith groups were below them. That being said, Keir Starmer turned up to the synagogue. There was a Cobra meeting that took place. It was declared a Plato, which means a serious event in which a lot of resources are put into it. Like I said, they knew who he was, and they were very quick to determine that it was a terrorist attack. People weren't asked for evidence. The police put their own resources in, even though people say you can only really determine a terrorist attack if there is clear intent. But this guy was killed on scene, so how do we know? Regardless, having this sort of energy when a place of worship is attacked by a knife-wielding maniac, because here are some of the things that I saw in the Independent article that I was reading. This guy called Jihad smoked cannabis, was a university dropout, was an ISIS supporter, was accused of grape, cheated on his wife. Some said had a girlfriend, some said had a secret wife. But again, all of this was revealed very quickly. They managed to track down all of this, including the secret wife. He converted in 2018. He had a string of criminal convictions. They even managed to track down his Muzmatch account. Serious violation right there. And to such a degree that they had details about the clothes he would wear when he was exercising in his garden. Now we're going to compare that to some of the anti-Islamic, anti-Muslim incidents that have taken place. The first one was an imam that was stabbed on the 4th of October, not so long ago, at 10 p.m. in Hounslow. Alhamdulillah, he did survive. Again, on the 4th of October, Quilliam Mosque released a statement in which they said that a group of young girls after their class were waiting outside and a woman wielding scissors tried to attack them. They ran inside and alhamdulillah, the woman wielding the scissors was arrested. What's interesting is the mainstream media wasn't even covering it for some odd reason. As you can see, this is a non-mainstream article. These guys covered it amongst others, but it took quite a while for the mainstream to jump in there. Let's move on to the arson attack, the firebomb attack that took place at a mosque yesterday. This was in Peacehaven, East Sussex. They are masked individuals that tried to break into the mosque. When they realized that they couldn't, they set the front of the mosque alight, the stairs, including a car that was in front. The police have labeled it a hate crime, and they are, get this, asking the people, because that's what you do. Yeah, no, that's what you do when there's an accident and you weren't there and you don't have CCTV evidence. Let's face it, the UK is not short of CCTV evidence. 2 people were inside, so this was attempted murder. Now, this mosque has been previously targeted by egg bombs, graffiti, so it's not like the police didn't know. Now, when it comes to the synagogue, they were afforded police protection, as all places of worship should be if there is an active threat on them. But this mosque was not. I'll give you a few other incidents that have taken place again in the last month or so. On the 2nd of September, Epsom Mosque was defaced with the England flag. But hey, I thought the England flag was just patriotic. Why are people moaning about flags being put up? It's because of intent. A doctor celebrating, he's probably saved a life. A criminal celebrating, he's probably taken a life. So if you think about the fact that in the last few years, we haven't seen England flags being put up, only when there's a football match, and suddenly when there is this drive that, gotta take these people out that don't belong to our group, that don't belong to our ethnicity, then I don't think you can blame people. And then you see evidences like this, don't think you can blame people for questioning the intent. After all, we have freedom of speech, and I think it is worth debating, don't you think? On the 4th of September, Cheadle Heath Mosque, the windows were broken. On the 24th of September, Scotland, East Renfrewshire, there were broken windows done by a metal pole. On the 14th of September, Tamworth Mosque, there was Islamophobic hateful rhetoric insulting the Prophet and Islam that was sprayed on the mosque. But because this will not get votes for the current politicians, they're trying to copy the model of reform, because most likely those guys are going to become the next leaders. And the media doesn't get clicks from talking about mosque hatred because, let's face it, there is a specific climate and they want to ride the waves and get those numbers coming in. And not to mention Lord Farquhar. Yes, Shabana Mahmood has become the Home Secretary and she is weaponizing the attack on the synagogue and saying, you know what? These marches, we shouldn't allow repeat marches. Hang on a minute. I thought marches were an indication of a free society. Are you conceding that this is no longer a free society? No, but hateful rhetoric gets said. Well, I just gave you a case in point of hateful rhetoric being said at the Freedom March. Are you going to say no more of those? Of course not, because you know there will be utter chaos. So yes, when these people talk about two-tier policing and two-tier rules, we're seeing this. So ladies and gentlemen, we condemn attacks on synagogues, we condemn attacks on mosques, we condemn attacks on churches. No, there should not be attacks on innocent people, especially in their places of worship. And what should be added to that is that the response should be consistent, whether it's a mosque, whether it's a church, whether it's a synagogue, a gurudwara, or a temple. places of worship should be afforded protection. You simply cannot say that 5 incidents pertaining synagogues have been reported at the level that they have been for mosques in the last month, but yet we're seeing a disparity because people are weaponizing plight of communities for votes and clicks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's stay afloat with these sorts of news by following non-mainstream pages like s2jnews.com that I've started, run by volunteers to get the news out to you. We are on Twitter, Instagram, and the website, and the app is free to download as well. Let's leave it there until next time. Assalamu alaikum.